What's up YouTube? This is ODC, that's me, and I'm back with another figure review. This is my review of the Batman Arkham City Series 4 Ultra Posable Batman. And I wanted to open up this review with just, I don't know. This is one figure I just really don't have much negative to say about. Especially for it being a DC Direct figure. Now, granted, it doesn't have the most articulation. It's not a Marvel Legend. It doesn't have Marvel Legend articulation, but it gets the job done for what we're used to seeing from DC Direct. So, with that being said, let me get to some. Actually, you know what? I'll get to that. Let me just bust out the packaging real quick. Set him aside so I stay on track here, because I'm always running off track. This is his packaging here. It says Batman Arkham City Series 4. His batarang does come not in his hand, which is a good thing, thank you. It comes separate in its own packaging, and the batarang is not a soft plastic, but I'll get to that in a minute. This wave comes with Nightwing here. Nightwing includes this wave concludes Batman just fell over. Includes a new head sculpt, and that's pretty much it. It's a less articulated body. I believe he has the same hip articulation as Batman here, but not an ab crunch and not a diaphragm, and not the added articulation that Batman has. Sorry, I'm not focusing here. Just getting off track, just blabbing. There's obviously Batman, and there's Talia al Ghul, and to wrap up, that's Deadshot there. I think this is actually a pretty strong wave. I'm probably going to pass on Nightwing, to be honest with you, just because I have the Batman Legacy Nightwing. So I'm probably going to pass on the Nightwing, but Talia al Ghul is definitely a must-get for me, and Deadshot, he's kind of a passable character, just because of the, I don't know, he's got a lot of new sculpting, don't get me wrong, but a lot of him is very, like, I've seen the figure before, and it's very plain Jane to me. There's not a lot of shading, there's not a lot of detail in his face. I didn't really like the look of his skin color. It's very pale. Now maybe I'm just nitpicking, and, maybe that's so, but I don't know. He's almost a passable character to me. I don't know, I kind of would have rathered had a more posable Deadshot. But I understand why they gave us another Batman, because he is a selling point, and Batman does sell. But other than that, I think this is a very strong wave. If you don't have a Nightwing, you're going to get another Nightwing, which is, great for people that just that either passed on it or missed out on it. So either way, I would highly suggest getting Talia al Ghul. She is, whether you're going to use her for just the way she is, which is, the figure's fine on its own, but you could also use her for a custom. That head sculpt looks just beautiful. It really does. It looks perfect. So if you played the game, you'd know it's very accurate to the character in the game. But enough about that, because I've been talking about that enough. And let's get on to this figure. We'll start with his batarang here. There's one accessory. I'll set him down. And it is painted blue on this side. I believe this is his remote control batarang, which you can control when you're in the game. I believe it's in the sewer level where you have to throw the batarang through a electrical charge, and then flip the batarang around, and it has to hit something to open up a wall, which you can go through. So this is basically the battering in which you can control. That would explain the blue. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. The other side is not painted, and this is a very hard plastic, so that's good. It won't bend in the packaging or anything, so that's good for the battering. But this guy is really, really cool. If you're sick of getting Batmen in this wave, I should say, I would pass on all the others, and to be honest with you, I would get this guy. The reason why I say that is because this guy is a completely different figure. He is 100% brand new to any other Arkham City figure that you've gotten. The head sculpt is completely different. The torso is completely different. It's got more articulation. The gauntlets are different. The gloves, his knuckle dusters, his gloves are completely different. The belt is a more pliable plastic, like his cape. His cape is brand new. His boots are even new. He's got more articulation in legs. He's got double jointed knees. He's just a completely different figure overall. And I'll bring in with comparison. He's even actually shorter in stature to the, I believe this was Series 1 Batman that came with the explosive gel gun. And I mean, if you could just look right here and you can see the complete difference in both of these guys. Let me just get his head straight here. And I mean, he's got a painted Batman symbol. He's got a sculpted and raised Batman symbol on his chest. The gauntlets are even different. If you can see here, right here, look at that, and then look at this right here. The sculpting's deeper, and it's actually sculpted farther apart. It seems like the sculpting's just way better on the more posable Batman, to be honest with you. Even the belt looks like it's got wear and tear on it. It's got a lot of detail on his belt, and it's not a hard plastic like this belt. This belt's like a harder plastic. Sit on my side over here. Sorry if I'm. But this belt is much easier to move, so it doesn't get in the way. It doesn't hinder his leg movement, because you can spread his legs out pretty decently to get him to like a dynamic pose or whatever you're trying to do. But his cape is completely different, as you can see here. His cape does not spread out, which this cape actually helps him stand. I don't know if a lot of people have noticed that, but it actually really helps that guy stand up, because he's actually really heavy. This guy's a little bit lighter, so he can stand up on his own a little bit easier. But this is this is new technology for DC Direct, and I really got to hand it to them. They really stepped it up and they really nailed it. To be honest with you, I mean, this is nice, but it's pretty plain Jane. This figure right here. It's definitely nice as a display piece, but other than that, it's pretty boring. I mean, you can't do much with that figure. But this figure, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. You can, I'll go through articulation real quick. I'll just show you guys, because this is going to be a long video, apparently. His head does do a full 360. His head doesn't go up that much. It goes up a little bit. It goes down more, so you can get him in a downward look. His arm goes up about that far. His arm does do a full 360, and the cape does not hinder it like this cape does. This is very soft plastic or rubber for his cape. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got a single jointed arm or elbow, and he has a wrist rotation. No wrist hinge. Still no wrist hinges, but that's okay. He does have a diaphragm joint, which I usually absolutely hate, but it works so well because we got an ab crunch. You get an ab crunch and you get a diaphragm joint. Now the thing is that we don't have there is no waist swivel, so don't force it. Looking in here, you can see that the part of the ab crunch here. I'm sorry, I've got a lot of I have a lot of shadows here, but looking in here, lift his cape up. The ab crunch that connects to the lower torso is connected to the waist, so don't try to force that because you'll snap this right off. But other than that, yeah, like I said, the belt is very pliable plastic, or rubber, excuse me, it's rubberized, it has texture and a ton of detail on it. His leg is now I see where they were trying to go with this. It's a decent like leg, but it's kind of stiff. It just kind of does this. I mean, it still goes out, but I don't want to force it because I don't want his leg to break. So I'm just gonna leave it. But I mean, it goes out. It'll go out, and it'll go in, and it doesn't really go back that much. It goes more forward than back. It does have double jointed knees, which is a huge plus. And I mean, come on, it's a DC Direct figure. And he does have a boot swivel and ankle articulation that's very good. No pivot, because this part of his boot is actually hindering it from having a pivot. So, but other than that, he's got a ton of articulation. You can get him into a lot of poses, which is pretty rare when it comes to DC Direct figures. Sorry, I'm like my camera's like crooked. I actually started doing this review like I was doing the review before this video, and my battery just completely went dead, and I didn't even realize it. And I was still talking into a camera that wasn't even on. So, yeah. So, yeah. But this is pretty much all I have to say about this Batman. I would highly recommend this Batman, and I'm gonna rate it as a DC Direct, just as a DC Direct figure. I'm gonna give this guy a 9.5, to be honest with you. I highly recommend getting this figure. It supersedes any other DC Direct Batman figure from the Arkham City line. Just look-wise, I think the face sculpt is much better. The detailing is so much better on this. In the face, everything. Just everything. They nailed it. This is the Batman that they should have came out with in Series 1, to be honest with you. And this is the articulation that we should be getting from the Arkham City line if they continue it, which I hope they do. Maybe they'll give us a black mask in the next series. I don't know. In case you haven't noticed, Black Mask is my favorite Batman villain. But with that said, that's pretty much all I have to say about this. I'm not going to ramble on anymore about stuff that has nothing to do with this review. But yeah, like I said before, I highly recommend it. Get it. You'll love it. It's either whether it's a display piece or you're an ACBAer. I recommend getting it. He'll also go very well with the Batman Legacy posable Robin that came with in the 2-pack with Joker. So I mean that way you can put those two together, and they're both very posable, and they're both in scale with each other, which is absolutely perfect. So, but that's pretty much all I have to say about Batman here. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Rate, comment, subscribe, and let me know what your thoughts are for the next wave. Like, what would you like to see in the next series if we get one? I'm hoping we do. I'd like to get the rest of the villains in here, or the rest of the Batman rogues. But let me know what you guys think. What would your next 4 be for the next series? Let me know down in the comments below, and check out my description box. There's a lot of other great reviewers out there, and I always add them into my description box. So check out those videos too, and rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Thanks.